Okay, in this video, we're going to look at creating courses and course offers and groups inside of the community feature inside of HighLevel so that you can sell your courses, or you can call them something else like a framework or a system, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to show you how to set up content inside of HighLevel that you can sell access to or give access to, and then have your members get access to a community component. Maybe you're doing some really neat like curated experiences where you're doing office hours, or maybe accelerator groups or cohorts for your course or framework content, and then you're letting your members discuss within it and ask questions. So I'm going to show you how to set all of that up inside of HighLevel. We're going to get started. We're going to set up our portal first, our client portal. I have another video on my channel all about the client portal, but I want to set it up again, kind of go through like a streamlined setup for you. Not going to go through every setting. We're going to give our portal a custom domain. This is going to be at our website. I'll do something like learn.convology.com. I'll go ahead and add that name, hit continue. It's going to walk through identifying that my domain is on Cloudflare. Makes the setup super simple, and I'll just hit authorize domain. Then I just authorize the record that it wants to add. It takes a few seconds, gets it all configured for me, and it'll be all set up and ready to go. Now I can come back into my client portal settings, and I can go to things like branding. I can change the name of my portal, something like Convology Learning, log in to access your account at Convology. I can update my brand colors. Mine are already set because it pulls it in from my branding guide, I think, so that's good. You can adjust things like the portal image, favicon, etc. I'm going to leave that alone for right now. Just going to hit save settings there. If we take a look at our portal, you can see why you might want to add an image in the background here, make it look a little bit nicer, but otherwise it looks pretty clean and it's already ready to go. Now we're going to go to the courses tab, and we're going to go to our products. Think of products like your courses. These are what people are going to be learning, the content they're going to be accessing inside of your portal. Offers are how you sell or give access to your products. I'm going to start from scratch rather than just like importing some placeholder content. I'm going to call this my HighLevel mastery course, and I'll click create product. Now it brings me into my course curriculum section. That's fine. I'm not going to populate the content. You can go ahead and do that for yours. Under details, you can add a description for your course and a thumbnail. I'll go ahead and do that for mine. I can scroll down to customization. If I want to make any changes here, I can. I'm going to leave all of this alone. I don't need to mess around with this right now. Now in the Customize tab, you can design how your theme looks. There's a certain theme update that they released that allows you a lot more customization. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's browse the system templates here. And if you look at the Neo Classic theme, this is the one that has that little Advanced Customizer tab. So we're going to use that as our theme for our course. If you've never used the HighLevel course customizer before, it was pretty basic. I showcase it in my other video, but this new advanced builder, I want to spend just a tiny bit of time on to show you what's possible. You can see as you hover over different sections here, we've got navigation, we've got hero, progress, block, things like that. And as I select different pieces over here, you're going to see this left side bar changes contextually to give me more information, more features, more customization options. I went ahead and uploaded an image that would look good as like the background of a header section here. If you didn't want this header section, you can do all the customization that you want. You can show an overlay or not. You can change colors of typography, reduce the opacity of the overlays, whatever you want to do to make it look good. Totally, totally doable. Now you can also adjust different components. Like let's say on the right-hand side, I personally don't like the instructor section. So I would just tell that to completely hide. I'd get that removed. So we can give a template a name. I'll just call this my Convology course template. I'll hit save and apply on that. Now in the upper left-hand corner, that was the product, kind of like the product page. We also have the lesson page, the individual lesson. This is something that I would also recommend you come in and customize. So like, for example, if I didn't want to show the instructor as well on the lesson page, can easily remove that. And some of this doesn't look quite right because there's always going to be like the featured video at the top, which is currently missing. For the sake of time, I'm just going to leave everything as it is. I'm just going to hit apply, but just know that you can come in and make all the customizations that you want. One little tip for you, I would recommend, so if we come back into the outline of our course, I'd recommend that you start to populate this a bit, add multiple categories or modules. Now that I have just some placeholders, everything's published, I can go back to the customize section, go back to my customizer, and I can preview what this theme looks like. And you can see here that somebody landing on this would see, oh, okay, well, there's the introduction. Obviously, I'd want to put some images in there. Okay, great. Automation lessons, email marketing lessons, terrific. Like you can see and get a feel for what this would actually look like when populated with your content. Now, next up, let's go ahead and go to offers. This is, like I said, how you sell or give access to your product. So I'm going to create a new offer. I'm just going to call it the same thing I called my course, HighLevel Mastery course, or I could just call it HighLevel Mastery, it doesn't matter. The type, I would say that I want to make this a one-time fee of $495. And then I'm going to say payment, I'm going to leave it in test. I'll click create. Now I can customize my product here all I want. I could put it in the description again. I'll go ahead and do that. Down here where it says included products, this is where you could include all the different courses that you have. For example, I've included my high level mastery course, but if I had other products, you could almost create like a bundle and I could rename my course or my offer. I could call this like my high level bundle. And inside of it, I could choose multiple different courses that I have. Whatever it is that you want to offer, that's then how you turn it into a bundle. Over here, you can add the price. You can choose the status of the product, published or not. You can set offer access date. I know a lot of people that I work with want to sell access just for 2 years. So you could do that here. And then you could set the image of your offer. There we go. I put in kind of like a little placeholder image for my offer. And then I'll save that. And then I want to edit the checkout. Now, if you wanted to, you could use what they call this little offer page. It's up to you. I find that I typically like to use different funnels to give access to offers and then use automations and workflows, which we'll go over in just a little bit inside a high level to grant access to it, just because I don't really love necessarily this section here where, you enter your information, you proceed to checkout, etc. It's kind of like not as customizable as the rest of the platform. So I don't particularly love this offer checkout, but that's where you would access it under the edit checkout section. You can set up upsells here automatically. So if you, again, want to go through this process, you can create one-click upsells or in-app upsells. An in-app upsell would be basically to say that this product is only available to people who are already able to access your courses, who already have a library, who can go in and who can see, okay, I've purchased maybe Doug's high-level mastery course, but as an in-app upsell, in other words, inside of the learning portal upsell, I can go in and I can upgrade essentially my high level mastery course to, let's say, Doug's Convology Plus, or maybe I could upgrade to high level mastery plus office hours. You can build kind of whatever in-app upsell that you want, or you can just straight up turn it into a one-click upsell and easily, we'll just make my test offer the one-click upsell and easily set that up inside of the system here. And you can customize it. Again, I feel like they need to make some updates at the time of this video. I feel like they need to make updates to this section here to bring it more in line with the editing experience of the advanced customizer from the layout that we did earlier. I feel like this is just a little bit lacking, but you can customize it. You can customize the body. You can add a video. Nothing here is going to stop you from having a successful upsell. Even if you used the offer page that I showed you earlier, this checkout, nothing's going to stop you from having a successful sale there. But essentially, if I used that basic page with no customization, this is what it would look like. I proceeded to check out. You can see that it would have me enter in my payment information. This isn't bad, right? Again, nothing's going to stop you from selling through this method. So you can create as many offers as you want. That's under courses, offers. Course analytics is available here. And then under course settings, this goes back to where we were in general for our courses already. If you wanted to, you could come under the course emails. In most cases, I would probably just redo most of these. I know in my previous video I said that I wouldn't, but they have enough. If you use the workflow automator builder, they have enough custom values that you could automatically insert that would take place of all of these things. You can custom make your own emails. These look a little weird in my opinion. Now, once you're inside your community, I'm currently previewing mine in admin mode, but in this upper right-hand corner with these little like 9 dots, you can click on that and you can see your courses, communities, affiliates, whatever you've turned on inside of your community for people to be able to access. That's where you'd see it here. So this is how you would see the high-level mastery course, the test course, for example, if it was in their library. This is where they'd also get access to the in-app upsells if you created any. They'd be in here for them to click on and then upgrade to. But they could click into a course. They could see the lesson that they want to go to. They could click on it. The video player would be at the top. All your customizations would be there. It looks pretty good. Again, you'd customize yours. Now coming into communities, this is the part I was talking about at the very beginning of the video where you could kind of give somebody a combo, like a discussion space or an event section that combos with your course or whatever it is you're selling, your framework, your process, your system. But in high level, you have this concept called communities, but communities are really just made up of groups. And for the most part, a group is a community. So if you're thinking of like a circle community, that's really a group inside of high level. So when you click the create community button back there, it took you to create group because really community is a group. But we'll call this our high level mastery group. That's fine. You can put a description if you want to. You can add custom photos. I'm just going to hit create group. So this is the first step. It has you create your profile. It's creating the profile for your admin user. So once you have your little profile made for your admin user, you can see it just drops you right inside of your community. And here's where you can start to customize everything. You can see in the upper left, this is my high level mastery group. For all intents and purposes, this is a complete community. So if I had multiple community groups, I could use this little drop down and I could switch between them. So I could create entire communities just for one of my courses or one of my programs. I think that's a better way to look at it. So in the very near future, I'm creating my agency blueprint program. That might get its own group. Why? Because I just want agency owners in there being able to communicate. It would have its own events, its own members, its own learning section, etc. Now here's what's really cool as well. You can sell access to this community group and you can add a course into it. So I could select my high-level mastery course and say that I want this to be visible to all members, or I want this course to be accessible upon purchase only, and sell the group and have the learning component extra. That's an interesting approach. So I've kind of showed you a couple ways now to get into this. In this case, I'm going to go with all members and I'm just going to add it in directly so that members will be able to come in here, see it inside their community, take the course, all that stuff. Now we can adjust the settings of our group here. We can change the name. We can call it our high-level mastery group. You can create subscription prices for this. So I might say that this community is $20 per month. I can add a price to that. Now within a group, you can also create different channels. So think of those like spaces in a circle community, things like that. So we have the home one. I can add a channel. This would be like a space. I can have this be agencies. I can choose to make a channel private or not, but I'll go ahead and create that. And now I've got my agency. So I have my home feed, my agency feed. I could add a channel here to talk about automations. Now I have my agency group, my automation group, and I can drag these wherever I want. My announcements space. I could restrict members from posting there and make it read only. Whatever I ended up wanting to do, I could do it. And then creating posts. If I do it from let's say the home screen, I can create a post here. I can choose which of the different channels it goes into. Let's say I put it in automation. Say I have a question about workflows. I can obviously publish my post here, and then anyone that comes in would see, is it inside of agencies? No, but it is inside of automation. It is also inside my feed. I can click on it. I can write a comment, post my comment, include all the typical posting type things. There it is right within the community. Click out of it. Now you can see that this has one comment. Now, if I wanted to go to the home screen here, you can see that this is the main portal of the hub that we've created here. Remember, I called mine Convology Learning. You can call it whatever you want. From here, pretend I'm a normal member. If I didn't belong to a group or I wanted to try to apply for one or buy one, I could click join a group. I could click take a course, check my affiliate earnings, and manage my subscriptions. Pretty cool, and you can customize what different components are available. I did cover that in my other video all about the portal, which I'll be sure to link in the description. You can have your clients also come in here, by the way. So if you chose to show estimates, they could be in here, shared files. You can share a bunch of files with your members. So if someone gets access to a course, you can share a file, all that kind of stuff. And then members can, of course, click the 9 dots again, come back in. They can see the different communities. I only have the one, so it loads right in it. But then I can do the same thing with my courses. I can see my courses here that I have access to. Or again, I could come back to my community. And because I set up the learning tab in my community. All members of this group have access to this course as well. I think that's a pretty cool setup. And again, I'm a big fan of this learning section within a community. All right, so coming back to our community or group manager, so to speak here, I could create more. I could have one for my agency blueprint, one for my YouTube course coming out. I can create all these different community groups and sky's the limit. So unlike a tool like Circle where you have one community and a limited number of spaces, in HighLevel, it's unlimited. And also compared to a WordPress solution like SureDash, which you install on your website, and you are limited to essentially the one installation of SureDash on your website, you're not creating multiple communities within that setup. Here, you could totally do it. I could have 20 different groups and it wouldn't matter. There's no limit. All right, now let's change gears slightly. I want to go into automations and I want to show you some of the automations that you can do. We'll create a couple from scratch here that show you some of the ability to add people into offers and into groups. So you could do a trigger and you could set this up as a purchase. So like an order submitted. And you can add a filter and say, if somebody buys the global product, say they bought my Convology Plus lifetime offer. I could save that as a trigger. And then I could come into an action and I could search for offer and I could choose course grant offer. I want to grant access to which offer? My high-level mastery one. Remember, that's the one that I made that gives them access to the course. I could click save action. That's how I would add somebody into the offer. That would trigger the welcome email, all that kind of stuff. Alternatively, I could choose a different one. I could search for group and I could choose grant group access. And in this case, I could grant access to my high-level mastery group. I could do both in one. I could grant access to my course and the group It would be kind of strange given this setup, but you can do all of those things there. So what I'm showing you here is that you can use a separate product, right? My Convology Plus lifetime product there is totally separate from the course and the community ecosystem. It is actually just a separate funnel and a product. I actually set that up I did a video showing how to do a workshop funnel. So like if somebody signs up for a workshop, you could grant them access to a group and have it be like a free group. Or you could just do a sign up form. Doesn't even have to be a purchase. I could change this and say instead of order submitted, I could do form and say when a form is submitted, I could search for the form is, this form on my website. Whenever they submit this form, when someone books in a call, sets an appointment, whatever your trigger can be, you can just grant them access to these different things like courses and group offers. And then from here, you can tag people, add them to your email list, whatever you want to do. You've got full access to HighLevel's workflow tools, and you don't need to overcomplicate it if you don't want to. You can just strictly keep it as simple as this. So I wanted to record that video. I know I showed a little bit of what I'd showed in my other videos, but I wanted to present it from this different perspective that you can create a course or a community group, and you can have a course get granted access either way, through an offer or attached into the learning section of a community group. And you can create community groups for your courses. You can use workflow automations to grant access to your products through the offers or grant access to the community groups, which contain your courses. Whichever option is best for your program, you have the freedom to set it up however you want.